All right. Got another replay. This one from Doom Sage and Vlad Pony. Dwarves versus High Elves. I did debate pretty heavily about whether or not to cast this replay. It's tough. It's tough, man. There's so many goddamn High Elf replays recently. Since they are prevalent in the meta and very strong and stuff. And Dwarf replays are tough to want to cast because of their playstyle. Like, Dwarves, Cathay, Vampire Counts, it's sometimes hard to get a replay that's really worth watching because their style is very slow and terrible. But here we are. Do have two Slayers, some Dwarf Warriors, the Grumbling Guard, Longbeards with Great Weapons, plus another Longbeard with Great Weapons, 4 Quarrelers, one of which with Great Weapons, and some Miners with Blasting Charges, plus a Cannon, and Grombrindle, the White Dwarf, not Thoric, to be fair. Looks like he has all of his abilities. On the other side, for Doomsage, it's an Archmage of Light with only Barona's Time Warp. We have 2 Sisters of Avalorn, 2 War Lions of Grace, one of which is the ROR, 4 War Lions of Grace, and then 5 White Lions of Grace, including the Puremain Company, and we have Degway, the Grey Shadow Warriors. Cool. They have Stalk and Snipe, and then... They have Loic Shroud. Active ability. It's not popped right now. So these guys have Stalk, and they have an ability that gives them Stalk and Unspottable. Okay, that's pretty useless, but alright. Whatever, the Grey. Dwarf formation is a little tight. It's a little too tight. Should be spread out more. The cannon's placed on top of a hill, but in kind of a weird way that it can't see a whole lot. So, the dwarf formation is less than ideal at the moment. White Lions opting into the fight with the dwarves. They're probably going to get shot by blasting charges here pretty soon, and archers heckling them, so they will not have a good time. They'll need their War Lions and Sister of Avalorn and the Grey to come in and help out, but such is the life of a frontliner. High Elves charge in, meet the dwarves, and a lot of elves are already dying. Oh god, a lot of elves are already dying. Like, a lot. Like, a lot of elves are already dying. As the blasting charges, 2 of them I'm going to throw into the Puremain Company. If these guys ever figure their shit out, there they go. Doing decent damage to those lads. Sister of Avalorn are at last in range. If you're playing quick battles, you probably want to take at least one spell that does really good area of effect or line damage. Because if you run into somebody like this, like these Dwarven lines are just begging for like, I guess Pendulum's super nerfed, but I don't know. Fiery Convocation from the High Elves or something. War Lions did get around the formation. Nothing was left in the rear to protect the cannons, but it looks like the Lions are actually just going to go for these Quarrelers and let the Grey try and deal with the cannons, but too many dwarves on the front line, not enough on the flanks, since their Quarrelers are exposed. Lions are going to start tearing them apart on every side. Yeah, they're doing okay versus little Rangers. They do have armor-piercing anti-infantry. And Quarrelers have really bad melee stats. They're just considered a good archer unit because they have 80 armor, so that if they get attacked by like basic dogs or something, they can usually withstand it, but White Lions are no... War Lions are no basic dogs. Sisters of Avalorn still uncontested, still firing into the Grumbling Guard. The High Elf front line is doing its best, also buffed up by Barona's Time Warp, giving them 62 and 71 melee attack. So they're doing alright. But Slayers have collapsed onto the Lions, and they absolutely tear through those kitty cats as soon as they get the mind to. And the Grey, no! Getting hit in the face with the Ekron's Miners, even with their spread out formation, taking a lot of damage. They're not even dealing with the cannon, they're just shooting the cannon. Cannon itself is trying to fire at the Sister of Avalorn, but that's not really what that type of unit does. Grumbling Guard have stepped out of formation to get soloed out by the Sisters of Avalorn, rear charged by War Lions of Krace, and still the balance of power is about even. You can see in general why dwarves are not a lot of people's favorite right now. They just stand there and try to outstat you. Grombrindle fighting his way through more White Lions, Dwarf Warriors, and Miners just standing around. There is still one War Lion on the backfield, but it looks like the Dragonback Slayers are going to catch it, cut it down. 57 speed with the Dragonback's Curse, or whatever the hell this is, Power of the Dragonback. They have a slow. That's all I'm trying to say, is they have a slow. War Lions get torn apart, and with that, the last real threat on these Quarrelers is gone. More Slayers, more Dwarven infantry is coming back to line. The White Lions are still trying to grind through. Verona's Time Warp is helping out. It looks like 2 of them. And the Sisters of Avalorn continue to fight. Grumbling Guard pushed off by these War Lions, who are also opting back to the fight. But we still have 2 cannons. They're still firing. The Grey are back here trying. They're doing their best to matter. They're doing their best. Archmage of Light is also here. Sisters of Avalorn have used a lot of their ammunition, just firing in onto the dwarves. Shields up, lads. Shields up, as they're just getting blasted in a laser light show they cannot return from. More White Lions of Krace pushed off. Looks like 2 of them are about to get out of here. The Puremain Company hanging in, however. And the Elves fall behind on the balance of power. The Gwei still trying to do anything they can at all. Down to 1 cannon and its crew. They finally rout. 7 models left on them. Maybe the Gwei can finish them off. War Lions dashing in with the last little models to maybe finish off these Quarrelers, and a side charge from the Light Mage does actually a pretty good amount of damage on the Equine Spiders, considering the state Chariots are at overall. Sister of Avalorn teeing off into the Slayers, while the other sisters run away from them. Grombrindle is healthy and fine. The Dwarven front line is trying to hold back these White Lions. Maybe if they got some support from their archers, they could be good, but the archers are busy trying to defend themselves. As the Rahagri's Pride actually get a really good charge off on those Quarrelers. I wonder if they use their Roar to guarantee that these guys run. Yeah, it looks like they're not going to just yet. Things looking a little better for the High Elf Sisters of Avalorn, murking down these Slayers, and we are going to get a bit of a crossfire on the poor naked lads, who are busy chasing off a Shattered Lion. That's why they're still running in that direction. More Elves are routing. Miners continue to fight with a vengeance. And the Dragonback Slayers are opting into fighting the Puremain Company rather than fighting the Rahagri's Pride. It looks like now they're going to go fight those Lions, and that is the target they want. That is the target they should be able to obliterate. Another Verona's Time Warp trying to buff everybody up. The Lions at 103 speed, 62 melee attack, plus bonus versus infantry. It's not really going to matter versus the Slayers, though. The Slayers are just going to chop them down. So that'll go fine for them. Sisters of Avalorn still shooting those Slayers. Dwarf Warriors are rallying a bit. And Miners pushed off at last by the White Lions of Krace. War Lions, White Lions, all of them fighting together against the Dragonback Slayers. And it is just the Grumbling Guard are back. Hooray. Smoke Bomb onto these. Ooh, these Lions down to 7 melee defense. Akron's Miners are going to punish them deeply for that. Yeah. Goodbye, my lion friends. Goodbye. Rahagri's Pride is somewhere, or are they dead? They died. I literally don't see their model anywhere. They must have all died fighting these Dragonback Slayers. Yeah, there's some of them. Dragonbacks continue to fight the Puremain Company. Puremain Company should trade up in that. Dragonback Slayers have really good stats, but not good armor piercing, so overall the Puremain Company should be fine. They are taking a little bit of friendly fire from their own Sisters of Avalorn, though. A couple desperate Slayers fighting the Sisters. Sisters with their 39-51 melee stats should be able to beat those Slayers quite easily, so they'll be okay. But are they out of ammo? Yeah, they're entirely out of ammo, making them a subpar melee combatant through the rest of the fight. Dwarves pull further ahead on the balance of power as the High Elves run out of ammo. Sisters now trying to shoot Grombrindle, the Gwei trying to shoot anybody they can. And the High Elf Mage of Light's just chasing off some Miners, but that's about it for the Elves. They are largely down to just some archers, as the last of the War Lions is going to run off the map. Grumbling Guard could come back. Now what do we have? Dwarf Warriors, Miners, Grombrindle, and Dragonback Slayers. So the Dwarves not feeling so hot either. There is a Quarreler in the back, but it looks like the Light Mage is going to go take care of that. And Sisters of Avalorn, with their glowing bows, are going to use... Wow, they're like made out of pure light. Whatever. They're going to use them to go cut down some dwarves. Slapping the shit out of that one. That one specific dwarf took 4 blows to the back of the head. Now he finally routs. Alrighty. The Grey, 9 volleys left. 2 volleys in the Sister of Avalorn firing at this armored blob of Dwarven troops, trying to stay in the fight with Grombrindle, giving them his Rune Helm of Zufbar plus 12 melee, plus 12 leadership buff to an already very, very leadership stacked faction. Makes these guys nearly unbreakable. Dwarf Warrior finally breaks at 200 HP, and his leadership's already positive, so it was a momentary break. Sisters of Avalorn continuing to fight it out as arrows rain in. And the Grey should probably be targeting Dragonback Slayers. They can't do that much damage to Grombrindle. I don't know who they are aiming at the moment, but killing the Dragonbacks is a good idea. Quarrelers routed yet again by the Mage of Light. who then just looking at the Grumbling Guard gets them to rout. Huh, cowardly dwarves. Sisters of Avalorn, both units now out of ammunition, charging downhill versus some miners. Should finish them off in short order. Meanwhile, the other Sisters of Avalorn have been entirely killed off by the Zidawi. And the dwarves will go reconvene with their last miner friends, who are actually getting pushed off as well. Archmage of Light is coming back. The Grey continuing to fire. Continuing to do what they can to help out. Sisters of Avalorn are going to be made short work of, though, by the remaining dwarves. Dragonbacks are still 11 of them, 29 Ekron's miners, plus Grombrindle really helping out. And has he used... Yeah, he already used his Grombrindle, has no fear. Verona's Time Warp getting cast on top of the Sisters of Avalorn, giving them 63 melee attack, 51 melee defense. They're holding on. They still have their martial prowess. Once that deactivates, though, they are going to get slaughtered. Martial prowess is accounting for 12 of their melee defense right now. Big charge from the Archmage. Might rout the Ekron's miners, not looking likely, unfortunately, though. They still have 5 leadership even after all that. Dragonback Slayer's down to 2 models. The Grey, 3 volleys left, still firing. Grombrindle still fighting. And there the Ekron's miners do finally rout with positive leadership, so it was a temporary thing. And a flash bomb, plus the martial prowess fading, brings these guys down to 15 melee defense, though the last of Grombrindle's support dies, so their low melee defense doesn't matter that much, because he has such like crazy good melee attack that, you know, he was going to hit anyway. He's currently getting Chariot Gaming, but he gets pushed a little bit by the Chariot. Eventually the Chariot fucks off. He's going to charge back into the Sister of Avalorn. He should make short work of them. Other Sister of Avalorn are back. The Grey are here, 2 volleys left to their name, and the Chariot caster is going to continue to cycle charge Grombrindle, pushing him around. This does remind me a bit of Warhammer 2 gameplay, where the dwarves just consistently got this done to them, where chariots would just charge them and, like, infinite charge forever. Kind of stun lock them out. It's unfortunate that's still in the game. Ekron's miners might come back. They have positive leadership, but other than that, it looks like these dwarf warriors are officially just running all the way off the map. Grombrindle still fighting. Balance of power still actually favors Grombrindle versus all this, and I might agree. Chariots have been struggling in Game 3. Her melee stats on her chariot are really low, 26 and 30, and she is a caster, so she's not the best melee combatant in the first place. No armor, well, not no armor piercing, but low armor piercing also. Grombrindle still fighting away. Another Verona's Time Warp really trying to help out. Grombrindle getting poked and poked and poked. He does finally get a swing off onto the Sisters of Avalorn, maybe going to rout them. If he can ever get his axe back with the Discouraged Aura, the minus 16 leadership for anything he hits with it, that could be pretty huge in this late game. As the Grey, everyone has committed to the fight, even the Grey with 2 ammunition committed back to the fight. Ekron's miners do shatter randomly. That was weird looking, because they have positive leadership even in shattering, so I don't know how they did that. Bounce power tipping slowly against the dwarves, but a flash bomb lowers everybody's melee defense, lowers their speed. And these sisters barely clinging to life as Grombrindle stands facing an awful lot of elves. An awful large amount of elves over in this here place. Verona's Time Warp still hanging on there. It finally dissipates. Grombrindle is just above 1,000 HP. But can these archers and can this caster really bring him down? Good cycle charging here from Doomsage. Elves are clinging to life. No one has martial prowess left except for... Ooh, the Lord does. Okay, Lord. Wow, without martial prowess, she would have 18 melee defense. Jesus. Jesus. Grombrindle, I don't know if he's swinging at her or what's fully going on with him. He's stun locked so often it's hard to tell. Looks like he did... Ooh, he did get a hit on her because she's discouraged. Then he staggers down there. Swings again. Misses again. Really unlucky there. Finally hits, and now her martial prowess is gone, lowering her melee defense to 18. She takes another hit on the way out. Another Verona's Time Warp is cast onto everybody around Grombrindle. Grombrindle still fighting. Grombrindle hanging in there. Another charge from the Chariot character. Looks like he can't quite turn around and hit her, but if he could... He misses her. It looks like he was just hitting random archers or something, but if he hits her, he could for sure just, like, win this whole game with a chain route from Lord is dead and all that stuff. Grombrindle chilling. Archmage of Light is back in. Army losses hits, but since he's the only guy left alive, he is just going to fight to the end because he's unbreakable. Another big hit onto the Archmage. One more hit and she dies. No, she does not die. She routs and hits Grombrindle at the same time, which does kill him. And the tattered remains of a couple Elven archers are the only ones living to tell the tale. GG. Sister Survivor learned both about 1600 value. War Lions of Krace, even after all that, still one of them paid for themselves. This one. The Grey did well. White Lions of Krace did okay. For Vlad Pony, Grombrindle did great. Slayer both did fine. Grumbling Guard struggled. Cannon struggled. Ekron's Miners got 1800 value. Quarreler struggled. Dwarf Warriors struggled. Minus Blasting Charges did fine. GG. Roar.
Subscribe, yes, yes.